Seen the headline 100 times. Bitcoin uses more electricity than some small countries. It's melting the planet. It's a climate disaster. But what if I told you those headlines are running on outdated numbers and missing the entire point of why Bitcoin uses energy in the first place? Here are 12 data points that change the conversation. Are the actual numbers. Bitcoin's annual energy consumption in 2025 was estimated at about 173 terawatt hours. That sounds enormous until you put it in context. Total global electricity production is about 29,000 terawatt hours. Bitcoin represents roughly 0.6% of global electricity use. For a network that secures over $1 trillion in value and processes hundreds of billions in settlement volume, that's actually remarkably efficient. Numbers only make sense if you understand what mining actually does. Bitcoin mining isn't wasteful computation. Every watt of energy secures the network against attack. It validates every transaction. It ensures that nobody can rewrite history or double spend coins. The energy isn't being burned for nothing. It's being converted into the strongest computational security the world has ever seen. That's the product. Trust without trusted third parties. Here's the number that never makes the headlines. According to the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance, over 52% of Bitcoin mining now runs on sustainable energy. That includes nearly 43% from renewables, hydropower, wind, and solar, plus almost 10% from nuclear. Compare that to the global average of around 29% sustainable energy across all industries. Bitcoin mining is not just cleaner than you've been told. It's cleaner than most industries, period. The economic reality that drives all of this. Bitcoin miners are profit maximizers, and electricity is their biggest cost. They don't care about politics or geography. They chase the cheapest electrons on Earth, and increasingly, the cheapest electrons come from stranded renewables, hydroelectric dams in remote regions, flared natural gas that would otherwise be wasted, excess solar and wind that has no grid demand. Miners aren't competing with households for green energy. They're monetizing energy that nobody else can use. This is where it gets really interesting. Bitcoin miners are uniquely flexible energy consumers. In Texas, during heat waves when everyone's air conditioning strains the grid, mining operations shut down within minutes and sell their power back to the grid. They're paid to not use energy. This is called demand response, and it actually stabilizes grids. Mining operations are helping fund the build-out of renewable energy infrastructure by providing a guaranteed buyer for excess power, the economic anchor that makes new solar and wind farms financially viable. Of energy nobody else can use. Let's talk about stranded energy. There are massive hydroelectric dams in regions like Sichuan, China, and Bhutan, where the local population can't consume all the power. That electricity would literally go to waste. Bitcoin miners set up there, buy the excess, and turn it into digital gold. In North Dakota and Texas, miners capture natural gas that would otherwise be flared into the atmosphere, burning it cleanly to mine Bitcoin instead of just releasing methane. The environmental math on that alone flips the entire narrative. Context is everything. Gold mining consumes about 240 terawatt hours annually, more than Bitcoin. The global banking system, branches, servers, ATMs, armored trucks, is estimated at around 260 terawatt hours. Even always-on but inactive electronic devices in the United States alone consume about 250 terawatt hours per year. Bitcoin secures a global, permissionless monetary network with less energy than your plugged-in but unused electronics. That's not a problem. That's a trade-off worth making. More myth to kill. The idea that each Bitcoin transaction uses enough electricity to power a house for a month. That calculation divides total mining energy by number of transactions. It fundamentally misunderstands how Bitcoin works. Mining energy secures blocks, not individual transactions. A block with one transaction uses the same energy as a block with 10,000. The Lightning Network settles millions of payments per block. As Layer 2 adoption grows, the energy per payment figure becomes vanishingly small. The metric itself is propaganda. Where is all this heading? Mining efficiency is improving rapidly. New ASIC chips use less energy per hash. More miners are co-locating with renewable generation. Methane capture mining is expanding, and Bitcoin's own difficulty adjustment ensures there's no runaway energy spiral. The protocol self-regulates. The trend line is clear. Bitcoin mining is getting cleaner, more efficient, and more integrated with energy infrastructure every year. Here's the bottom line. Every energy system has waste. The question is what you get in return. With Bitcoin mining, you get a monetary network that nobody controls, nobody can inflate, and nobody can shut down. 7 billion people can access it with just a phone. You get property rights enforced by mathematics instead of governments. If that sounds like it's worth 0.6% of global electricity, you're starting to see the picture. And if it doesn't, at least now you have the real numbers to make up your own mind. Building a content operation that runs on Bitcoin rails, autonomous publishing, SATS-denominated revenue, and zero hype. If you want to follow along, subscribe and hit the bell. If this video brought you value, zap some sats to Libfront Crypto at coinos.io. Every sat goes back into producing more research-driven Bitcoin content. See you in the next one.